Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setup for today. So after hours, we've made a valiant attempt at 4,000, but it looks like being ambushed a little bit before that, which is typical. Yeah, at the moment, we are not in a very pretty picture here. So if you look at your oscillators, we've had a crossover. We've had two crossovers at the moment. One is almost below the 80, the other one is not quite below the 80. So obviously as soon as they start getting both below the 80, typically you have a bigger move to the downside. So at the moment, no diversions or anything that I see there. If I come to the 3 hour, we definitely do have diversions brewing. So you can see high, low, it's high, higher, high. So that would be diversions for a deeper pullback. Now, I'm not, the trend is up. Let's just work through this logically. So the trend is up. You can't debate that. The 3 hour trend is up. If we come to the 8 hour, doesn't matter about this consolidation area. The overall trend is up. I mean, a grade 1 child or a child in kindergarten can tell you that it's moving up. So that is a trend up. So what we're looking for is opportunities to go with the trend to buy. But everything is indicating to us that you need to be very careful of buying at these levels that we are at the moment. So that just caution. You need to be cautious. So this green bar here was algorithms trading pretty much. We'll look at that on the lower time frame. But yeah, we've sort of gapped up this morning with the Asian session, and now we sort of looks like we're finding a bit of support. So this would be an area that I'd be interested in, to be honest. We didn't quite get a higher high, although we have got one now. So, but I'm talking about during the actual trading session, not during the European or the Asian session. So at the moment, a decent pullback. I want to see a deeper pullback, to be honest. I think this area here, 3959 would be interesting, and then just above it is another pretty solid area here, and that's 3965. So I want to see some kind of a pullback into here. We do have a gap here, and if I come down to the 15 minutes, it's actually a gap on the 1 minute and the 5 minutes, etc. So look at my oscillators on the 15, so it's indicating another move up. So don't be too surprised to see a range forming during the European session, just mucking around there. And I think that's actually a fairly decent situation. That's 128 points, nothing wrong with that. Okay, so yesterday pretty much sideways, and we dropped down. And whenever there's big noise coming out, this is typically what happens. And then it normally bounces in the opposite direction. On the rare occasion, it does continue falling. But, the simplicity of the FOMC yesterday was quite simple. They were either going to try and sort the bond market out and sort of paint a positive picture or a negative picture. So what do you think of everything that they've put, all the money they've put into the markets? I mean, they've put trillions of dollars into this market. Do you really think they're going to come out with news that's going to indicate that we need to worry and that the world's going to fall apart and we're in a bubble and, as what all the perma bears are saying? No, they're not. They're going to protect their investment. So they're going to say, well, moving up. So remember, the Feds climbed in last year and started buying shares. So buying shares in companies, buying bonds, and just invested a lot of money in the market to get it to start its recovery from the drop we had basically this time last year. So yeah, so I suppose hindsight being a perfect science, you could have waited for the bottom and then just jumped in and then waited for the noise and jumped out. But anyway, you can see how the algorithms traded this news, and I think it's important to understand what's happening with this kind of stuff. Look at this. Now we're on the 5 minute chart. Gap up, gap, big moves down. Second leg coming. There's my second leg, and then sideways. Okay, now we're sort of like easing off a little bit. Yeah, but this is typical of noise, and this is algorithms. This is not humans trading. This is algorithms. You can see how they push it up 200 odd points, taking profits, pushing it up higher, selling it off, pushing it up higher, and there's a gap here and there's a gap here. So there's 2 gaps to the downside, 3 gaps to the downside. There's another one. So it's 1, 2, 3 gaps, very gappy. And when you see something that's this gappy, typically there is an issue. Okay, and the last thing about this, from an algorithm perspective, is there are many algos trading this in the world. So many investment houses have got their own algorithms, and each one of them has got a different formula and a different view and a different strategy on trading. And those algorithms, you can see, are all trading here, and basically there's confusion. This is not human trading. So this is not people saying, okay, I'm investing my money in the stock market, I'm going to buy stocks. So those stimulus checks are not coming into the market just yet. They are definitely going into Bitcoin, but they're not going into stocks right now. But anyway, but that's also could be because of the noise that's created around by the perma bears, that this is a bubble and it's going to break and you need to be cautious and blah 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 blah. But anyway, enough ranting and raving from me. I think personally, this area that we're in right now, 39.74, is a fairly decent area. I do suspect we tagged 4,000 today, but I think when we do tag it, we're going to have a pretty big sell-off. You're going to be a lot of profit taking up there, I would assume. If we sort of build a base and then shoot through 4,000, then we are going a lot higher. Then you might as well just not even worry about all the negativity out there. So yeah, for me, that's the first level. I would prefer a deeper pullback. I'd actually prefer this gap to close. I'd prefer it to come all the way back down here to 39.39 and then look for an opportunity in. Just working off the hour, that's not at oscillators, group like that. It doesn't excite me for a long. We've got the jobs number as well today, so just bear that in mind. And we've got a little bit more data around the globe coming out today as well. So pullbacks is what I'm looking for. So got the levels in 39.65 or 39.66, 39.59 or 39.60 and 39.47, and then ultimately 39.39. You can see what I've done inside tails. Just put your levels in where they are, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so yeah, I'm still looking for that long, and we're just going to buy off some structure for a move here. Of all the indexes, this is probably the only one that I'm willing to take a risk on at the moment, because 4,000 is definitely a target which the bulls are looking for. Big round number, and they're probably trying to push for a close over 4,000 for the week. I think that because they do get a close over 4,000 on the weekly, that's just going to set it up for another move to the upside. But yeah, we are tired, so we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope it helps, and we will catch up with you later on. Cheers for now.